Hello and welcome to episode 197 of Controller Club, the friendly face gaming space, a podcast where three friends from three continents share in one love, and that is video games. On today's show, PlayStation prices are on the rise, Nintendo's 2026 is coming into view, and we will be reviewing our 2025 hindsight games. But before all that, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Kleinfeld, and alongside me today, as always, are two of my best friends in the whole wide gaming world. First, coming to us from across the pond, it is the digital art daredevil himself, Tom the Glue Drew. Tom, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about all the stuff we're going to talk about this episode. I think it's going to be like a very juicy, very, I don't know, just a very cool discussion that we're going to get into, especially later in the show. So I'm just excited to talk about some games today.
It's going to be a good one. On today's show, already did that. Next up, it is journalist extraordinaire, Australian abroad, Canadian in training, Lauren Rouse. Lauren, how are you?
Bonjour, comment ça va? I'm coming to you
Ah,
from Lumiere.
Ooh,
oui, oui.
okay.
Je suis bien, et toi?
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good.
Okay. The French
Or it's basically
stops
French.
exactly there. Let's get
Yeah.
into the juicy show. Tom, we'll start with the news we choose. Tom Drew, give us that jingle.
It's the news we choose. We.
Oui.
So good.
First, we go to you, Tom. The big story of the week. Take it away. Go ahead.
I'm not going to do this whole story in French. The French accent, so I'll just read it properly. But yeah, we're going to talk about some Nintendo Switch 2 games that got on the horizon. So this comes from Andy Robinson at VGC. Nintendo is reportedly planning to release a major Zelda remake and a new Star Fox game this year, but a 3D Mario game won't arrive on Switch 2 until 2027. That's according to prominent Nintendo insider Nate the Hate, who shared a plethora of information on the company's 2026 plans, which matches with what VGC has heard from our own sources. In a new podcast, the Nintendo sleuth claimed a classic Star Fox revival is planned for release on Switch 2 this summer, hot on the heels of Fox McCloud's confirmed appearance in the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Quote, Star Fox is coming back in summer 2026. We're getting a new Star Fox game in the very near future. I've been told it's a classic style Star Fox game and that the visuals are supposed to be very good, and I've heard it does have online multiplayer. One game that will not be releasing in holiday 2026 is 3D Mario. 3D Mario will be releasing in 2027. But there is another anniversary this year, and it's the anniversary of The Legend of Zelda. What I can share with you today is that in the second half of 2026, approaching the holidays, we're going to receive an Ocarina of Time remake for Switch 2. End quote. According to Nate the Hate, Nintendo is unlikely to stream a general Nintendo Direct until June, but it could make smaller announcements on social media such as new looks of Splatoon Raiders and a Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave, and anticipated Switch 2 additions for Pikmin 4 and Xenoblade 2. So, Klein, I'm going to go jump right to you immediately because this is something you've been championing for feels like years at this point, must be. But Ocarina of Time remake, you called it.
Kleinsterdamus strikes again. Finally.
There you go.
Broken clock is right twice a day. A prediction came true. I am so excited. I can't wait to see what this looks like. I hope it truly is like a from the ground up, not just a new coat of paint, but actually a modernization of Ocarina of Time. I don't know if you guys have gone back and like even just looked at Ocarina of Time these days. Like I have started it a couple of times over the last couple of years. And while still like it's got that charm and it is very nostalgic, it definitely feels and plays and looks like a game from a different time. The walking out in a Hyrule field for the first time does not necessarily have the same effect that it once did when you look at it now, and it's just kind of this big barren plot of polygons. I want to see what this looks like. I hope it looks beautiful. I am so ready for this. This is instantly um my most anticipated game of the year behind GTA 6. Like I cannot wait to like dig my claws into this, and this to me, if Nintendo is branding this as like their big fall game, that does say a lot of like how far they're actually going with remaking it. It is not just going to be a nice little, I don't know, up res or whatever. Like if they're making it the what would be in that 3D Mario place, I have a feeling it's going to be something really special, and they are going to go that extra mile.
Yeah, it shows they have a lot of confidence in this release, and yeah, I honestly still kind of can't believe that this is a real thing. I do hope that it is because like you say, I've only played the 3DS kind of remaster. And yeah, like it's a good game. I didn't finish it. I got past the water temple and I was like, the water temple sucks. I'm gonna need a bit of time before I go back to that game. But yeah, it does feel like a kind of gameplay style of like almost a bygone era. When you compare it to like the 2D games, I feel like that gameplay style really does still hold up. But the 3D stuff, like it's a little bit hit and miss there in some areas. So I wonder what ways they can kind of bring this into like the modern era. So I'm very excited for that. But Lauren, does this do anything for you in terms of like its time level, or is like the Star Fox revival something that maybe you're interested in? What do you think of those?
Yeah, I think I want to touch more on the Star Fox side of things. Obviously, it was the big reveal this week that he's going to be in the movie, which people, including Klein, had theorized quite early. And not quite sure why they decided to reveal it up front instead of letting it be a surprise in the movie.
Yeah,
But
kind of weird.
maybe that means there's something even bigger they're hiding. I'm not sure. I don't know how you really top a Star Fox reveal. But I think this is great because it will probably launch this new game that they're now making, and it's like going to be a perfect synthesis of people seeing him in the movie being like, cool, I really want to like play that character's game, and then bang, in the summer you have like something new and a bit updated. And I think that's like a great sort of switch to title to have, like because when was the last Star Fox game? It was what, over 10 years ago?
Wii U,
It's on Wii U, so
end of
yeah, I'm
Wii
not sure
U,
when that
probably like
came out.
2016.
Okay, so
God,
maybe,
yeah,
yeah,
has it
just
been that
about 10
long?
Yeah.
years ago.
The last time we
Because
got a
Jeez.
good Star Fox game is,
A long time ago.
whew, almost 30 years.
Yeah, jeez.
Well, so like I've never played any of them because there was none on the Switch to play. So now if there's a Switch 2, and particularly a new game, I'm quite excited about that, to be able to experience that. So yeah, hope this is true. This guy has what, a pretty reasonable track record, but it's not
Mhm.
confirmed at this point.
Yeah, Nate the Hate, when he speaks, people listen. Like
Mm.
he's one of those names that I would say in the last, really since, oh, what was his name? There was that insider who had Newman
Oh yes,
from
Oh,
Seinfeld as his, really
yes.
yes,
since he retired. Nibel? No, that was a different one, but he retired too. Ever since
Yeah.
yeah.
they kind of like took a step back, Nate the Hate has been the guy. Nate the Hate has been the dude.
Yeah, so I think these are probably a given, and yeah, like you're saying, Lauren, I think Nintendo's doing something here that like I think other um video game adaptations or like studios producing video game adaptations should take note of like this kind of synergy across games and media where they are releasing a new game. Like we had like, Fallout Season 2 and everyone's begging for a new Vegas remake, but we can't play the
Mm.
game still on like modern systems. So I think it's really exciting. I like you, Lauren. I actually haven't played a Star Fox game either. I obviously like know the character quite a lot, but yeah, I mean, I had the Wii U, but I didn't play Zero because I heard Zero wasn't very good, and it feels like they kind of, at least the kind of sentiment that I get is that other than like some kind of like offshoot games that they've had, like the one with GameCube, I think you're like playing on the ground as Fox rather than kind of as in ships. It feels like they just kind of keep remaking Star Fox 64. So I hope that they kind of go in a new direction. And this kind of online multiplayer aspect does seem kind of like they are pushing for something a little bit more unique. But Klein, Star Fox, does this do anything for you?
I'm pumped. Like I want Star Fox to come back. I really like Star Fox 64. I have played that game. I played it on the Wii Virtual Console back in the day. Star Fox Adventures was the GameCube one, and that was the one that
Mm.
was previously a game known as Dinosaur Planet, and they kind of retrofitted it into becoming a Star Fox game. So that's why it is so different. And then I think it's Star Fox Assault, which was on the GameCube, which is much more like Nintendo, or like Star Fox 64, and I think that game is good but not great. They've really just been trying to recapture the 64 magic. I don't know what it is about that game that just, it's the tightness of the levels, the way it plays. It feels like a level above everything else Star Fox wise that we've gotten since then, which is kind of a crazy thing to say. So I hope that they can capture that magic. I think that these characters have the potential to really, really like jump off the screen and be kind of this widely beloved crew, especially with Nintendo's like kind of the renaissance that we've seen over the last couple of years with the launch of the Switch and now with the Switch 2. I think that if this game is good, and it could really like springboard Star Fox up in the minds of a lot of Nintendo fans and fans who might know Fox and might know Falco from the Smash Bros games, but seeing Nintendo plant their flag by putting Star Fox in the movie, I think really, really tells me that like, oh, they see this character as maybe not on the level of Mario, but like as something more than just like one of the cool mascots that they have under their umbrella. Like this is a big deal that he's coming to the big screen. And so the fact that they're going to have a game come out so soon after, like you said, Lauren, we can capitalize on that hype. And then I know we were joking about it when we were doing predictions a couple of weeks ago and talking about potential Nintendo adaptations. And there's a TikTok you can go watch of us talking about it now that the Fox reveal has actually happened. But like a Star Fox movie to me is not out of the question at all. Like that is something that I really feel like they are moving towards, especially now that like you're bringing Glenn Powell to play the character. You have this game. Like we could be living in a world 2 or 3 years from now where this next Star Fox game has the effect on the franchise that like Tears the or Breath of the Wild had on the Zelda franchise, where Zelda was always popular, but it was never a major seller. Like those games never really sold. And then Breath of the Wild came out and blew the doors off of everything. So I think if they can do something special here with Star Fox, we could be looking at it in the same way.
I think also this whole move to me just sort of has rammed home that like Nintendo is playing in a different ballpark to all the other video game companies. They are not thinking just about games, they are thinking on every level. There'll probably be a Star Fox ride at Universal Studios at some point. There's going to be, like they're playing, they're expanding in every way in a really strategic way. It kind of reminds me of like kind of what the MCU did in the early days where they were like, where it was started. I mean, Nintendo's huge. It's been around forever, but they were playing it really strategically and it was a risky game. But now I think like Nintendo has like always been its own thing. It's never sort of been influenced by anybody else. It's like, it still does weird things that we're like, why did you do that? But I do think that they're particularly this coming to Hollywood with the Mario movies. I think they're seeing an opportunity to sort of build this Nintendo universe across films, across games, across theme parks. And there's going to be like nowhere that you look where there's not something Nintendo for a while. And to get people on board, I bought a Switch 2 last week. Like I wasn't going to do that. And so this just feels like there's something for everybody in Nintendo right now. Like they're really overtaking the market. Whereas like Sony, okay, they have these games coming out. They have some issues that we'll talk about in the next story. But it just feels like and Xbox as well. We don't know what's really going on with them. It feels like they're kind of falling apart and Nintendo is coming together.
Yeah, they're really leaning into that identity that a lot of people have given them of for a long time people joked like, oh, Nintendo's the Disney of video games. And now it
Sure.
really does feel like they are the Disney of video games. And for a long time they had such a um I don't know, they were very risk averse. They did not like other people playing in their sandbox, and so that meant that all we got was the games. We weren't never gonna get a theme park because that would mean having to partner with someone that wasn't Nintendo. We were never gonna get movies anymore because the last time they did it with the Super Mario movie in the '90s, it was an absolute mess. And so they have kind of shifted over the last couple of years. I think even something, it might sound small to say, but like even something like their Lego releases, like that's something that Nintendo even 10 years ago was never ever ever going to do. Like they were never going to partner and let someone like Lego take on some of their IP, but now it's huge and the Pokemon Lego sets are selling out and the Zelda Lego sets are some of the most popular out there, and it is just this is a different Nintendo, and I think that it's a forever changed Nintendo. Like we will look at Nintendo kind of pre this change and post this change, and they are now really truly are becoming the Disney of video games.
Yeah, we do. It does feel like we're in a Nintendo renaissance in a way. Like because the Switch was so successful, and because basically anything they put on it just like sold like hotcakes. It does feel like they can make these big moves that do seem kind of risky. Like Star Fox isn't like A-lister character in like the mainstream kind of audience, but they can turn him into that sort of thing by making these moves. And like I'm sure the Star Fox game, regardless, like how it is. I think it's probably going to sell well because it's on the Switch. Like, they just seem, I don't know what it is, but they've just managed to blend this like perfect formula of making these success stories, and yeah, like you guys are saying, bleeding them across like everything that they're kind of putting out there.
Well, I think that's enough Nintendo talk. Let's talk about some of their competition. Lauren, you have a PlayStation story. Prices are going up again.
Yep. So Sony announced this week that it is raising the prices of the PlayStation 5 worldwide. I just pulled this from the PlayStation blog. But basically, they say, with continued pressures in the global economic landscape, we've made the decision to increase the prices of PS5, PS5 Pro, and PlayStation Portal remote player globally. We know that price changes impact our community, and after careful evaluation, we found this was a necessary step to ensure we can continue delivering innovative, high-quality gaming experiences to players worldwide. The updated recommended retail prices for PS5 consoles are effective starting April 2, 2026. So I've just pulled the prices for each of our markets. So in the UK, we're looking at the PS5 is £569.99, the digital is £519.99, and the PS5 Pro is £789.99. In Canada, the PS5 is $819.99, the digital is $749.99, and the PS5 Pro is $1,099.99. And in Australia, the PS5 is $999.95, the digital is $919.95, and the PS5 Pro is $1,399.95. So this was not like a small price change. This was a significant jump. It's as much as, $200 in some markets. And it comes after they did slightly raise the prices last year. I think it was about $50 last year. So it's now well and truly cheaper to buy the PS5 at launch. And I was just curious what you guys think about this and how people are going to react, because there's now, particularly like the PS5's like story in general has always been difficult. It was impossible to get straight away at the launch price. And then I believe it's sold pretty well as far as we can tell. It's had consistent releases. People are still buying them. But now they've raised the prices so significantly after announcing this PS5 Pro that was already stupidly expensive. Like looking at the PS5 Pro now in Australia, I'm basically paying 2 PS5s from when I first bought it. That's kind of insane. So a lot of people are looking at this and being like, consoles are not affordable gaming anymore. This is like shutting a lot of people out of the market. But yeah, what do you guys think about this, Tom?
Yeah, I think it's good actually. I think it's great that we're increasing all these prices. We can price everyone out of the hobby.
Big
Keep
corporate
all,
Tom Drew up here in his suit, ready. Tom
keep the
loves
real gamers.
capitalism.
Keep the real gamers on PlayStation. Let's weed out all of these. No, but no. I think this is actually crazy that they're doing this. It just kind of, yeah, like it completely shuts out, the people that can afford this, basically like the higher income people will still be like, they're not affected by this, but all that like big chunk of like middle income to low income um uh group of people are either, having to make big sacrifices to afford, a luxury good at this point, or just completely shut out of it and having to resort to like, either playing like older consoles or going to mobile gaming or something like that. So yeah, it just seems very exclusionary, and I'm worried for like the future of what this means for like consoles to come. Is this going to create? I see two possibilities. Either this creates a future where the PS6 gets announced and it releases, and people are just completely unwilling to pay these like exorbitant prices, or it's going to lead to like a mass panic, because people have seen the trends of this and be like, okay, I'm going to buy this now because I know based on what the PS5 did, it's going to be even more expensive 5 years down the road, which is a really troubling kind of thing to picture. So this, I don't know. This just sucks. I don't really know what we could do about this. Like I guess like really you can only vote for your wallet if you don't have a PS5 at this point. But I think it just sucks overall.
Yeah, it's just 5 years after it came out. We're basically at the end, the PS5's life cycle. I do wonder. So basically, this is mostly a result of there is like a global, like tech part shortage. Like there's a global RAM shortage, which is driving up the prices of all these devices for everything, for consoles, for PCs, for phones, for everything. Everything's getting more expensive because there is this shortage. But I am sitting here wondering, like, I'm not sure if the PS6 is coming on schedule or if any of them are, because what's the point of launching if you can't get it to people? Is it going to become like an Apple Vision Pro where it's like you actually have to raise the price to like $5,000 because you can't make enough of them? Like, that's even worse at this point. And that would kill, it would kill Sony. It would kill PlayStation rather. So yeah, it's interesting. But Klein, what are you thinking?
I think that this does, as you were kind of teeing up there, Lauren, I think that this tells me the PS6 is further away than we maybe had thought. Otherwise, they're releasing this thing at like, I don't know, $1,200 Canadian, maybe more. Like that's kind of nuts. And then video games, then consoles truly become the thing of the high-end hardcore consumer, and it is no longer like forever consoles were the easy thing. With the PC, that's when it got a little more complicated. That's when if you wanted to go and spend the $5,000 to build this massive rig, you totally could. But with consoles, it was always supposed to be, okay, you're going to put down a couple $100. Of course, that number has grown. I was just looking back at what I paid for my PS4 just for comparison. It was $399.99 Canadian. And it was this accessible thing that could be very plug and play and you didn't have to worry about it. And now this is really, really feeling like, okay, gaming is headed in, at least in the current landscape that we're in now, heading into this place of we're not going to have people adopt the next generation when it comes out. Like there will be people who do for sure. But we're gonna have more people staying along with their PS5s than we ever have with a last gen console. And I don't know what that means for the generation itself. Do console generations then at that point really kind of start to disappear? Because if most of the people are playing on PS5, Sony's going to continue releasing games on PS5, and then it really will just become like the iPhone or like a computer where, oh, you're all in the same landscape. It's just, oh, do you have the 2028 PlayStation versus the 2020 PlayStation? It's the number on the box at that point doesn't even really matter. I think that this is ridiculous, but it's not something that is all that surprising, just given what we've seen over the last couple of months. That RAM shortage you're talking about, Lauren, is obviously driven by the race for AI and that all these tech companies are just bursting at the seams to get their hands on RAM because AI is a very RAM heavy endeavor. And that is where all of these basically allotments are going. And that's why there's a shortage. And so until that goes away, I don't know if this is going to go away. Then we have all the mayhem happening on the dev side of things where just no one can like successful video games, it feels like, cannot be made in the way that they once were. And it's a very, very bleak picture to paint about the gaming industry. You're just looking at it and it's like a bubble is going to pop. It's just going to depend on how big this bubble is. I don't know if it's going to be as big as it was in the 1980s where the entire industry crashed, heading into obviously the invent of the NES and that sort of thing. But it's just like, as somebody who plays games, it scares me. As somebody who covers games and like industry stuff, it does kind of, I am very interested and I'm like not excited, but like I am sitting here going like, I want to see what is going to happen because something's going to happen. Um, it's concerning. It's a little concerning.
Yeah, I think as a consumer, I like the idea that you suggested of like, let's just extend the life cycle. I want a forever console, basically. I just don't want to have to upgrade it constantly like a PC. And we've said consistently like the PS5 is pretty good for what it is. I don't see them really going any higher in terms of fidelity and graphics. There's like not much of more of the ceiling that they can go past. So I think that may be a solution, but I'm concerned that because these are corporations we're talking about, I'm concerned that they will force people onto the next generation by being like, well, you can only play the new God of War on the PS6. And then we'll all sit here being like, well, I don't know if I want to pay $1,500 for one game or something like that. And so it won't sell well and they'll close Sony Santa Monica. And it's like, but can't force people, right? So I'm very concerned about that this will end up shooting the devs in the foot again, because they will release on a console that no one can afford. So it's
It feels
concerning.
like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or like the snake eating its own tail at this point. Like it is very like what you just said. I can see exactly where this is going to go if they go down that path. Right? It's the game's going to come out, it's not going to sell. Devs are going to be the ones who suffer and the people at the top won't. It's just I don't know what this new like when all the dust is settled and whatever this bubble is does pop, what does this new industry look like? Like is it just a bunch of people playing on the consoles they have, playing smaller, primarily indie games? Like I think that's kind of ultimately where we're headed if nothing crazy does change.
No, it's true. I think that is where we're going, because you can have small dev teams of like 2 or 3 people or one person make an amazing game on a console people can access it on,
Mhm.
and then they're set for life, right? Because it
That's not
sells.
pushing anything technically. Like it's like a
Yeah,
lot like sure there are I mean we're going to talk about one of the most beautiful looking indie games of all time later here on the show, but like Balatro could run on it can run on a cell
can
phone.
be on your phone.
Like right? Like Slay the Spire, another very popular indie game can like you can play that on pretty much anything.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily need 500 million mega flops or whatever and like being able to see the pores on my GTA character's skin. Like I appreciate that and I think that at least in GTA's case I do think they will end up making their money back. Because but that's not the case for everything, and yeah, it's
No, I think that it comes back to, you have to make a good game with a good story, and it doesn't have to be a AAA game to succeed. And we're already seeing it. Like, we will talk about it. Like, the games that we played for this show weren't hugely expensive. Well, I'm not actually sure what the budget was for Clair Obscur, but you know what I
yeah.
mean. Like, it
But
wasn't. It's not like it
comparatively,
is.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a
So
15
so
year
Hollow Knight
year
took
game.
like
Like,
almost a decade to make too. So
but
like
it was
that
like a small
so
team. There's only like
yeah.
3 of them.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, this is the thing. I think it's coming back. We're so cycling back where it's like we'll go back to grassroots. Indies
Mhm.
will light the way. Unfortunately, that will mean that. Well, is it unfortunate? I feel for the teams really, but like the big teams will have to
Mhm.
fall apart to make way for these new
Mhm.
teams, and then it'll start the cycle again.
Yeah,
But
it
I think that's
feels
just
like
the way it has to go.
the end of, and I'm not an expert of this era at all, but it feels like 19, I don't know, 50s Hollywood, or like the end of
Sure.
that original studio system, like where it kind of it got too big and then it fell apart and it made way for the kind of new Hollywood rise. Um,
Yeah,
and
because they
that builds into
aggregate
what we
and
are
they
now.
aggregate, which is what they've done in the game industry. And then they aggregate and they lay off teams, and those people have to go work somewhere else. So they start their own thing. And then, oh, wait, they've built a cool thing. Let's buy them again. Like, Tales all its time.
Yeah,
Yep.
really is.
Well, on that note, let's talk about some fun indie games. That's it for the news we choose. Tom, Drew, give us that outro.
It's the news we choose.
We. Let's hop over to our big conversation topic for the week, our 2025 hindsight games. The best 2025 games that we missed that we did not play in 2025. Every year we do this. We pick a game at the end of the year as a part of our Game of the Year awards. And we then go through and play them because some way or another, for some reason, we always end up missing something. And last year for us, it was a pair of games. It was Hollow Knight Silksong for me, and it was Clair Obscur Expedition 33 for Tom and Lauren. So we've played them. We're going to talk about them here. We're going to do full spoiler conversation, I'm hoping. And then we can close the book on 2025 officially. This is the last 2025 topic, and we're doing it as we approach April 1st. But I think to start here, we should do Clair Obscur, just because all three of us have played, or all three of us have finished it. We've all touched all of these games, but we all haven't gotten super deep in every one of them. So we can start with Clair Obscur. That was your two's task, the two of you's task, for the
One
last
of those.
couple of months. So I want to ask, how'd it go? General thoughts and feelings. How far did we get? Did we roll credits? Have we put it to bed? Have we platinumed it? What's going on? Lauren, let's start with you. Clair Obscur, where are we at?
No, let's start with Tom.
Let's start with Tom. Tom, Clair
Okay.
Obscur, where are we at?
So I have finished it. I finished it last night. Pretty late last night actually. So, but I did finish it. Like 30 hours on the clock, I think. And so I'm going to be completely honest. I wanted to come on the show and be a massive contrarian about this game because the middle portion of this game, I was having a bit of a crisis of faith with this game. I'm not going to lie. I really liked the gameplay. The visuals are incredible. I really like the characters, but I think the hype of this game is like it's massive. It's like kind of unlike anything I've seen for a game of this kind of scale. So it was kind of almost getting to me of like I was experiencing this story and I was just experiencing. I was like, this story feels very normal. Like it's like it feels very standard. It feels like a game. You know, you have a band of heroes and they're going to do a thing and we'll have a bit of fun along the way. And that was fine. Like I thought it was good, but I was like, I'm not seeing why are people saying this is like their favorite game of all time, top 10 favorite game of all time. And then I got to a certain moment in the game and I was like, okay, I get it. I understand. I take it all back. It blew me away. This game, like I don't think I've ever had a 180 like that in many types of media, and it does feel almost like the equivalent of saying, "Oh, just wait till like season 3. It gets really good at like season 3." The counter to that is that like the gameplay and like a lot of there's like so many other aspects of the game up to that point that I think are like are probably 9 or 10 out of 10. And the story is like probably like a 7 or 8. But then it gets to that point and I was like I completely changed my mind. So I I kind of adore this game now. It's made me look at this game in a completely different light. I can't wait to talk a bit more about what that specifics that I'm specifically dancing around in a minute. But yeah, that's how I feel about Clair Obscur.
Lauren, what about you?
Okay. Well, I want to preface this by saying that something that you two have that I do not is this experience with, I suppose, like this type of game. It's sort of a little bit Final Fantasy-esque. It's a little bit JRPG. It's got this turn-based combat. And I've never been that person. I'm like, I looked at things like Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate when they won Game of the Year. I'm like, should I try it? Should I dive into the hype? Should I buy into the hype rather? And I'm glad I didn't because I look at those games now. I'm like, I'm just not going to enjoy it. I don't think it's just not for me. And so I had huge reservations about this as well. And to be honest, I'm playing it, I'm going through Lumiere. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like the graphics are amazing, but I also feel like it's a PS3 game. Like there is dialogue that is just 3 ellipses. I'm like, what is this? Why are people into this? And I'm like, the characters are cool, the performances are great, but the dialogue's kind of standard. And yeah, kind of like Tom, I'm like it seems fairly normal. There's all this lore that they just drop on you and expect you to keep up, and I'm like, I need logic. And there's so many things that don't make sense. So that is inherently rubbing up against me. And I'd probably say for the first 3 hours, I'm like, this is going to be a slog. I'm not enjoying this. And then I guess I got to like, is it Flying Waters or something like that? I got to like Mayel in the manor, and I've started playing a bit of the combat, and like this music kicks in, and I'm like, okay. And I started getting a handle on the combat. I'm like, all right. And then I think I finished the session and I went to bed and I'm like, I'm still thinking about it. I wonder what happens next. And then there was a good 2 weeks where Clair Obscur is all I thought about. It was like, I was like, what Kool-Aid did they put in this game? Because I can't explain why I've connected to it, but I have. And I'm like, I get it. Like I don't know why. It's not like I hadn't even gotten to the twist. So I'm like, what is it about it? It's this sort of, I don't even know how to explain it even now, but I think it's this sort of underlying found family charm that it has with these characters that are like not the best well-written characters ever, but you kind of love them and they're just effortlessly cool. Like I love that when you start playing as Lune, she just glides. And I'm like, okay. And
Feet out.
it just has this kind of, it's almost this kind of arrogance where it's like you'll keep up, you'll get it, you'll enjoy it. And I'm like, yeah, I think I will. So it went from something that I was like, I really don't think this is for me, to being like, oh, this is quite amazing. But it still has flaws. So we can talk about those. But I do think this is the real deal. It did deserve every flower that it got. It definitely got me. So let's talk specifics.
Yeah, let's get into specifics. Before we do that, I want to just like provide a bit of an update about this game on my end, because I played this game last May when it came out on Game Pass, finished it, got the twist, was like, that was really good. And then I didn't really think about it. And then it got hyped up and hyped up and hyped up. And sure, I maybe bought into the hype. But when you guys said you were going to play it for the hindsight, I'm like, I want to play it again. I want to do it. I want to do it a second time, because it's not the biggest endeavor. Like, it's, as you said, Tom, it took you 30 hours.
Mhm.
And last summer, or last year in general, I had really, really, really bad year. And last summer I lost a family member very, very close to me. And playing it a second time post that, this game hit like this game. I felt playing this game the second time the way I felt playing The Last of Us for the first time, where it's like, this to me is like, this to me is one of the great game stories. Like, I love these characters. I love this world. I think that the twist at the end is, or like 2/3 the way through, is amazing. I think they do such a great job in this story of throwing stuff at you that just when you're starting to feel like, okay, I need something to happen, like the most shocking thing happens. And it's like, whoa, that is crazy. Or the most heartbreaking thing happens. Or the most like, or okay, now we're gonna go bury this dead friend, and it's gonna be this incredible emotional experience. I have like a history with these sort of games, I guess. So like I'm a mark, but I this Clair Obscur is now, I am one of those people, Tom. Like, this is, I need to look
Mhm.
at my top 10 list, and I need to figure out where I need to put 2 games on it, because Hollow Knight as well is, I teeing up those thoughts. I absolutely love that game. So, um, Clair Obscur rocks. It's absolutely fantastic. I think the like highlight for me, or the big thing that I want to start on, is this story in this world. This idea of the paintress and these expeditions, and I think this game opens so strong, like the just like in the first half an hour, even, it like kind of pulls your heart out in the way that Up does. But like, what did we think about this story in this world? And I think it was so well realized.
And we're spoiling this now
Yeah, spoilers off.
yeah.
Charlie
So if
Cox
you
dead. Oh.
yeah, so if you haven't played the game, you should skip ahead. But yeah, so like I thought, yeah, like kind of what Lauren was saying as well. Like um, I was kind of a little overwhelmed because they don't hold your hand on a lot of the concepts that they're kind of just like throwing out there. But I think as it went on and you pick up that stuff, I think it's like a cool. I think a lot of other media like does the opposite, where it's like they really just kind of lay things on thick. And especially, yeah, this opening, I thought, like with yeah, this really emotional moment where like everyone dies. Like I was just like, this is a bold thing to start with. But yeah, like I was kind of saying, like I think, you know, the Gustav death scene was one of those like WTF moments. I was like that. And there have been other
Just the
games like
bang from off camera, and then
yeah,
pan, like, oh my god.
it's just like it's so well like like quote unquote filmed, and it was amazing. But like I've experienced other like RPGs where you lose a character, um, and but this like felt even more so like impactful, but even more so. What am I trying to say? Like when Gustav dies, you are then introduced to Verso, who is like basically the new main character or co-main character of the story. And at first, it was almost like I would describe it as a Last of Us Part 2 moment where you start playing as Abby because you're like, okay, this like looks cool, but like he also sort of looks like Gustav. He plays similar to
Mhm.
Gustav. I don't this feels weird. I don't want to be playing as this guy. This feels strange.
It's like
Um
you're not him. Like, why are you
yeah, you're
trying
not
to be
Charlie
him?
Cox. You're
Yeah.
Mm.
not the guy. So I felt super weird about it, and that like that was kind of messing with me, um, as I was playing through the game, and that's why I was kind of like, I was like, these are fun moments, but I'm just a bit unsure. Like they're trying to get me to have relationships with these people, and but then when they unravel the layers of who Verso is, and then we'll talk about the twist a little bit in a little bit, but all of that stuff, I was a lot more on board, and yeah, I thought that was just handled so well.
From that moment, it goes from being not Verso. It goes from being Gustav's game to being Mael's game.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's at that
100%.
moment that Mael is like she becomes the main character.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry, it was Mael's game for me from the beginning. I didn't care about
Okay.
anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as she
Oh
came in,
yeah,
I
she's
played as her all the time.
Oh yeah, dude,
I
in
pretty much did
combat,
too.
she is my MVP. Like
Mhm.
everything, every
She's the only
move,
one I upgraded.
every little thing I did. Really?
Yeah. I was
Oh
like,
wow.
I mean, I gave the others some things, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
I just basically made her
You can
an
break her. Like
insane
if
powerhouse.
you set everyone
She's
up, like
nuts.
basically everyone on my team was there to buff her so that
Yeah.
she could just come in and one hit everyone.
Yeah. I think because I am somebody who I love a twist and I seek logic. And from the beginning, I had this theory. I was like, oh, I think Mael's the paintress. Like, I think that's where we're going here.
Mm,
Obviously, that
okay.
was wrong. But I was also like, I think Gustav and Verso have to be the same person. And I'm like, are Verso and Renoir the same person? I'm like, this is very, they're going to pull something out from under me, which they
Mhm.
did. But it's definitely a game that it's like, oh, I think actually a second play would reward you because you can go back and see
Mhm.
everything that they were setting up. Because up until that point, you're kind of like, what's all this weird black and white stuff? Who are these weird people showing up? Like, there's no logic to anything until you hit the twist. And that's like a really risky game to play, but it does pay off in this case.
Mhm. Do you want to talk about the twist? Did it
I
like
guess we
Tom?
should.
It said it blew the game open for you. So like, did it
Yeah.
kind of blow your mind? Like, did you know? Did either of you know anything going in?
I didn't know anything. All I knew was that like there are these characters that sort of look like one another, and that was the thing that was really annoying me. I was like, these guys look like very similar. Like Mael and Alicia look so similar. I was like, why? Why is
Was there
this
part of
feels
you?
weird?
There was part of me that was like, but is it because they're kind of low budget and can't afford to have different face
That
models?
was
That was
what I
part of
was
my
thinking
logic.
too. Yeah, that's what I was like. Maybe it's that. So that's kind of frustrating me. But then obviously the twist happens, and yeah, it goes from a game that I think like has some really cool characters who are very likable, and are really fun as like a group, to like a game where it just kind of like there's so much to kind of unpack about each of these people, and it really blew the whole game and the whole story apart. I think if you're not familiar with the twist and for some reason you're still listening, um basically all of these expeditions um aren't real and the paintress and Renoir are Mael's actual parents, and basically Verso was someone who was is Mael's brother and passed away during a house fire, and this whole
In
sort
the
of
real
thing
world.
is taken
In
in
the
the real
real world.
world.
There's a real
and that's
world.
and there's a real world that I can't believe I'm saying this, but like, honestly, no one else made this comparison. But this game is like, if "Don't Worry, Darling," that Florence Pugh
Yes,
movie.
yes.
If
I
that
thought the
movie
same
was
thing.
good, if that movie was good and French, it would be Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So they're like, yeah, there's a real world where stuff happened where Verso actually died, and everyone's kind of retreating into this fake world where they're going and doing these expeditions, and basically as a way to grieve Verso's death. And there are a lot of layers to the twist in terms of like you think that the paintress is the one who's gommaging people, but then they reveal actually no, she's the one who's saving people from being gommaged because she wants to keep this world intact, and it's actually Renoir trying to collapse the whole thing. Then you have the fact that Verso in this world isn't the real Renoir; it's a refabrication of him, basically a puppet that they're using to kind of cope with his death. Which I thought that really opened Verso's character up for me because it felt like his whole purpose was just like he didn't have a purpose other than to just be like a plaything for these people, which I thought was just like such a tragic, really sad thing for this character to go through. And then you have Mael, who also exists in the real world and has this kind of tragic thing where she didn't die in the fast fire, but she was severely burned and can't talk. So she's using the world as a kind of retreat in her own way. So all of those kind of things come together, and it's like, wow, there's way more going on here than I initially kind of expected. And I was just really impressed by how, yeah, the twist lands. And there's just so much to kind of unpack with it.
Yeah, it's kind of still something though that like you have to pull apart and almost fill in the blanks for yourself. And I think that's part of its charm as well, is that you will everyone will take away something different. Because like even you hearing you explain it, I was like, that's not what I thought. Like
Oh,
there
right,
was some
okay. Oh,
yeah.
cool, okay.
But yeah, like that is the gist of what happens, and you realize that this world that you've been playing in is all fake. It's in a painting. You're existing in a painting, and that's why there are gestuals who have paintbrushes for heads and all these really crazy weird worlds. And also this is an extremely French game, so like the
Yeah.
creativity, it's not apologetic about it at all. So there is, I think, like some extreme creativity from that, which is really cool. And you don't always have to like, not everything does have a counterpart, and that's okay. But I think that's another reason it's so successful is people are like, I've just never seen this before. It's not like we're in Baldur's Gate 3 where it's all kind of based on Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, no, these are completely new characters and worlds and rules to get used to, which is why that, you know, already there's, I think, is it a movie or a TV show is coming out about this? Like they've
Movie.
jumped on it pretty
I think a
quick.
movie, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
before the
And
game
I
even came out that was licensed.
Mhm.
like this is a whole new world that they know people are invested in, and it just has these crazy moments and this kind of charm. I loved that like every time you finish a battle, it's not continue, it's we continue. Like they have these kind of mantras in the game, like tomorrow
For those
comes,
for those who come
for those who
after.
come after, like that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It just feels so established. It's like a fully thought out world that you can just enter. And then I think pairing it with this theme of a family going through grief, what we do when we're grieving, like that's obviously going to resonate pretty much universally. So it's, yeah, I think it's, you once you've played it, you realize what it actually is. And you can't understand that, I think, from just looking at a trailer or looking at it from the outside. You actually have to go on the expedition, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that the from when the twist happens all the way through to the what I would call the end, you can obviously keep playing. But like the final battle, where it isn't like you've defeated the Paintress, you've kind of defeated Renoir, and it is the Verso Mael back and forth. Like that is like there's so many highlights in this game. I think that Gustav's death obviously is one of them. I think Gustav's memorial is one of them. I think that the all like there's so much just epic stuff with the final Paintress battle and the music swelling and that sort of thing. But the way that this game and this story ties up for me is the thing that will always stick with me. And I'd love to hear what you guys like ended up picking because you obviously get to pick. Do you want to like do you want to live in this fantasy world, a fantasy world where you get to be with your dead brother, or do you come to reality and destroy that? And I think that that is like such a I don't know, it's a kind of it asks the kind of question of a player that you could have 3, 4, 5 hour conversations with people about. Like it just this like what kind of w- what kind of person are you? And I think and also where are you in the grieving process? Because I think that everybody grieves differently at different times, and some days I might be ready to live in the painting. I might be ready to not burn it all to the ground, but other times i'm I'm on the verso side, and I'm sitting there going, no, like we need to the person who's gone would want us to move on, would want us to like I just it's so it's heartbreaking. Like it really is. Like the ending of
Yeah.
this game really, really, really tears you apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom, it's interesting you said "Don't worry, darling" earlier before. I actually think for me this invoked more of Inception, where it's like Pop
Okay.
goes
Yeah.
back to the dream world constantly to try and see his wife,
Hmm.
right? And he has to decide. His ultimate realization is that he can't keep living in that world. Well, he kind of came to the realization earlier, but anyway, that was the parallel that I saw the most. Um, and like obviously at the time when you have to pick between Mael or Versa, you don't really know what it's going to lead to. I picked Mael because she does no wrong. Although maybe she did a little wrong
Maybe a little bit.
when you see what happens. But I stand by my queen. And yeah, I'm curious. What did you pick, Tom?
Yeah, so I watched both because I was like, I need to know what
Yeah,
happens either way. I picked Verso first, and I think I probably prefer. I think I side with Verso's a little bit more, just in that like, well, they frame Mael's one as like a bit of like a horror ending. Like I
yeah,
got jump
it's
scared
creepy.
like at the end of the game, and it was like late at night. I was like, oh my god, this is a bit. When they show like Mael's eyes looking kind of affected like that. I've seen this game kind of described in a way as like someone like dealing with like a drug, like some kind of addiction, like a drug addiction or like alcoholism or something. Um, and Renoir kind of representing like someone like a father figure trying to pull them out of it. And yeah, that's what kind of like the painting kind of seemed like to me. Is this like kind of it seems inviting and warm, but when you bring your dead brother back again and make him play piano on stage, it does feel like a little bit sinister in terms of like why are we actually doing this? But then you have like the flip side where Mael or Alicia in the real world, at least to her, feels like she doesn't have any prospects. She's suffered so much. So you can understand why she doesn't want to go back. And I think that's the like the great thing about this game is like everyone's motivations are so well fleshed out and you understand where every single one of them is coming from. So I do prefer the Verso ending just because that's what I think they needed as a family to kind of continue. But obviously it's very sad that like all your friends are no longer there other than kind of in like as like force ghosts at the end of the game, I suppose.
It's like they were
So
never
yeah,
real to begin with.
Right?
yeah, I
And then you
suppose
go into
it,
the
it feels
questions
like
of like, it's like the justifying like whether robots should live kind of thing, right? Like, do they have souls?
yeah, yeah, that's the thing. So it's like yeah, I don't know, but I think that's the fascinating thing. I don't think like there is a real right or wrong,
Mm.
like cut and dry kind of answer for the ending, and that's
Oh,
what I think is really like interesting about this.
no. I did Verso's ending both times. And just like, and as even like I'm with you, Lauren, like Mael was my girl up to that point. But like I almost, when it gets to that choice, I almost think like I am what I'm doing is in service of her. And like what I like, and
Mm.
As it
yes, I
should be.
am. Yeah, right.
You're
Like
saving.
what I am doing is, even though I didn't pick her, like Verso's ending, I think was going to benefit her more by
Yeah,
having Alicia move on. And
of course. Like morally, like ethically, probably Verso's choice is the right one. But yeah, it's one of those
mhm,
games where it's like it's similar. Like yeah, it is kind of like a bit The Last of Us Part Two ish, where obviously that's not a choice based system, but it is. It does make you think at the end, like about morality
mhm.
and yeah, what is right
Or
and what is
even
wrong.
The Last of Us Part 1, like, I remember
Yeah.
finishing that game and coming upstairs and being like,
Oh yeah.
I was the bad guy?" Like, what does that even mean? What is the
Mm.
bad guy? Like, the
Hmm.
things you would do for the people you love. And I think that this game, obviously, it gives you a choice at the end, but it's tackling a lot of those same things. How far would you go to stick with the people that you love?
Mm. Yeah, neither outcome
Mhm.
is the right one.
Hmm.
What else do we wanna highlight while we're here talking about Clair Obscur? I'll shout out the music. Love it. Just 10 out of just incredible. Unlike anything I've ever really heard before, too.
Yeah, I'd second that. I play it now when I'm working, when I'm walking, when I'm at the gym. Like, and it's so varied. Like, a lot of it sort
Oh
of comes
yeah.
across as this. Like, at first, when we saw the performance at the Game Awards, and I didn't really know what it was. I was like, yeah, it's kind of epic, but it's a lot of like French women singing, piano playing, and then randomly I'm like, wait a minute, this is like I'm at a rave. Like there's electric guitar
Oh
going.
yeah.
There's up, and it changes
The
per
battle music's so good.
area. Oh my god. Like I would go into battles. This is gonna be. I actually want to ask about this, but a lot of the time I would run away from battles because I'm like, I don't want to deal with you
Okay.
right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this was a thing that I just did or if this was a common experience, but there's you could spend so much time freaking fighting in this game because there's so many different wardens in different areas, and like I did find that if you just sort of run around them, they'll chase you, but they'll give up eventually.
Yeah, they have a
Um,
gate.
yeah, but there were times when I was like, oh, I just want to hear the music again, so I think I will. I'll go into a fight now.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned the song of the Game Awards, which is the song where I was like I think that was the moment where like everything kind of clicked for me again. Because the song it's like the rematch with Renoir just before you fight the Paintress. I think it's called like Une vie à Temor or something like that. And yeah, like you, Lauren, when we heard of the Game Awards, I was like, oh, it's fine. But when you hear it in game and that moment it builds up and you just hear this singing and it's like this is like one of the most epic songs I've ever heard in my life. And then I went back and I watched the Game Awards performance, and I was like, God, I was not giving this enough credit like back then. Yeah, the music is just like it's a revelation. It's like it's one of the best uh gaming soundtracks I've ever heard in my life. And as like when I finished the game, immediately I looked up Clair Obscur concert. And I'm really sad because there's one in London.
You
It's
missed
happening
it.
while we're in Japan. It's also
Oh,
sold out. So there was no way of me being able to go.
Of course
So
it's
I'm
sold
kind of
out. People are like this.
yeah.
See, when I was in Emerald City Comic Con a couple of weeks ago, one of the panels I went to was with the cast of this game, with Ben Starr and Jennifer English.
I actually
Um,
watched this.
and
Oh nice.
it is incredible to see the way that this game has resonated with people. That whole weekend, it was that and Critical Role that like the room you couldn't it was standing room only. People were walking into this panel, everyone was dressed up in their mime outfits. People were bringing baguettes to the stage and putting them on the stage for the guests or for like Ben Starr
We
and
saw
them.
it
And
at PAX when we were there. Like
yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Unreal.
the
insane.
crowd of berets, beret dog.
Mhm. Oh, I
Um,
met Beret Dog.
but
So
yeah, the
cute.
music is just. I think yeah, I agree. It's just not like anything I've ever heard, and I think it turn. I have to say I think it turns what could be an on the line game into a great game. Like I
Mhm,
think it wouldn't be the same game without this music.
mhm.
It's not the same comparison, but like because I think these movies aren't the greatest, but like it turns some of the prequels aren't the best
Sure,
movies, but the music is like it's
Yeah.
going off
sure.
like crazy.
Yep.
John Williams is doing some
Cross
great
the
stuff in that.
Stars,
So
Duel of the Fates.
oh,
Yep.
just
Yeah,
it's so
Battle of
good.
that's
Heroes.
But
true.
obviously this game is a lot better than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
I would put this game above the prequels
a li-
just a little
just a
bit.
little bit. I do want to talk about the combat for a bit because I think this was like my standout thing. I yeah, like I'm very used to like turn-based stuff. But this is like I don't know, scratching so many different itches. It reminded me kind of like Persona 5 a little bit, but like the parry system which I will say, it did take a lot of getting used to, and even by, like, the last couple hours of the game, there are some moments where, like, I definitely hit the button at the right time, but it just didn't I don't know
You
what
gotta
happened,
listen.
but
You gotta listen. This game
well,
is very
I
like
s
the
But not
parry
even
timing
every
is
time.
100% sound
that's
based.
the thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I was listening for sound cues, and they just wouldn't come,
Yeah.
um, but for the most part, if you listen and hard enough, it does work out, but the parry system, like, when you do successfully parry every single attack from an enemy, it feels so good to, like, counterattack and get, like, massive damage, and then like, you guys were talking about Niall, like building up, you set fire to someone, you use the like swift strike to get into virtuous stance, and then you can do increased damage, and you do so much damage as a like, and that's just one character. Like the other gimmicks, like CL's gimmick with the foretell and the cards, and she can go into like the twilight state. That was one of my favorites. Lune's stain stuff. At first, I was like, this is a
Yeah,
little
I
confusing.
liked Lune's stain stuff. I
Yeah,
used
who
that a
was your
lot.
squad? Who were your mains?
Usually Usually it was honestly Lune CL and Mael. I would sometimes swap out CL
Yeah, the
with
girls.
Verso, but yeah, it's usually the girls to be
I
honest.
was
They're such a
100%
good team?
Verso Mael Lune.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was Mael Lune Gustav for a while, and then obviously he swapped out with Verso. And then I decided I didn't like Verso. So I put in Minoko, and Minoko rocks.
Minoko's
Okay. I didn't actually
weird.
use Minoko a
Minoko's
lot.
yeah, I didn't use I've tried him once or twice and I just can't wrap my brain around it.
That was me with CL. Like I just could not understand the foretell thing. I
Yeah.
just there's just
Right.
I think it rides the line of being a little bit too complicated. Like my L's at least okay, you have three stances. I can kind of understand that.
Sure.
Verso's got the letters, but it runs the risk of being a little bit too complicated. But I do like that it differentiates characters. But there was a point where I was just like, I can't handle this. I can't read all these instructions right now.
Yeah. Or
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
found a team and was like, I am familiar enough with how all of you play.
Hmm.
These other ones I might be able to be doing things more efficiently with, but like I don't want to even I don't know, I just don't wanna mess with it. I was so
Yeah.
devoted to,
Same.
like, these 3 characters, and I knew how they worked, and I knew how to
Yeah.
kinda maximize the 3 of them, and I was doing, like I figured out the parry timing on this pretty probably about halfway through, and then coming back to it the second time, I had that kind of knowledge base, but, like, I built like my team to be where, okay, every parry, I'm getting AP points. And then I'm using like, I'm
Yeah.
just like, by the time it gets back to my turn, I'm already just can do so much.
Yeah.
Because I've literally all I've done is just like parried or dodged.
And yeah,
Yeah.
but jumping off of the combat, I think the boss fights in this game are also some of them are very very difficult.
Very hard.
Especially like towards the end, like the last Reno fight, I was struggling. Like I had to send my reserve team. I was on like 1 HP, like basically. But
When he
the
becomes the
boss,
horse, when he sends the horse in or the tiger in, which one's that?
it was the one where he's like now kind of like he's like his curator form, and he's like
Oh, okay. So
summoned
like the ending.
the very last one, yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I struggle with that, but
There's like
I mean,
four endings in this game.
Yeah.
it ends a lot.
I remember thinking that I was
Um,
done, and then be like, wait, there's
yeah,
another epilogue?
that's the thing because they do the epilogue, then they reverse it, and then they do another one. It's yeah, it goes back and forth. Um, but yeah, the boss fights are just so good. Like they feel so epic, and like the attacks are like when you are fighting these massive like creatures, it's just like yeah, it's like nothing else. I think they'd handle that so well.
I think the standouts to me, I will say, like, I've never really experienced combat like this. I think my turn-based
Hmm.
experience in games is exclusively Pokemon. And this is obviously like has very minimal shades of that, but it was like a
Hmm.
whole new world for me to learn. And I liked it a lot. I know that there's I think even Klein, you've said it that this is the game, the turn-based game that gets people into it because it's so accessible. And so I appreciated that. I'm not sure it's like enticing me to go try something like Baldur's Gate or one of those other turn-based games because I'm like, it's not going to be this, right?
Yeah. You might like
Um,
Paper Mario. There's like it's this, but
Yeah.
more Pokemonified. Like like a little easier to wrap your head around.
yeah, I liked the strategy of it for sure. Like I liked being like, okay, I can set this up and that up, but I guess I never went right into it where I was like, I'm going to go look up all the broken builds and things like that. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to play how I
Mhm.
want to play, and I managed my way through somehow. I wasn't playing on very hard difficulty. But
Were you
yeah, it
using
was
like
definitely
the Luminas and the Pictos and
yeah.
all that sort of thing? Okay. Because
That
that's
took
a
a minute to
system that
work out though. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a system they don't tell you about, and then you're in it, and you're like, "Wait, what? Oh," and once you figure it out, that's like, "Okay, so I assign these things, and then when I use these things successfully 3 times or whatever, now I can just add it to anyone."
Everyone,
Um,
yeah.
I really like that system, but again, it is, like, not something that they tell you about at all.
I think that's why I struggled so much in the first few hours because I was like, I don't know how anything works. There's so much to learn. Not only am I learning this new world, but I'm learning all this new combat and all these weird upgrade systems. And I was very close to being turned off by that, but you just have to bear with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Um, do any of you have any negatives? Because I think I'll shout out very two small kind of like nitpicks, I suppose. Um, my first one, and I say it's a nitpick because it's like not the main part of the game, but when it ever happened, like I was just like I hate this. The platforming. is
Yeah.
so bad. Whenever they try
Did
to
you
get you
do
to
any of the
jump onto
platforming, like,
platforms,
challenge levels? Did you find any of
I
those?
I I I pushed through and did one of the beach. It's like the beach one where
Yeah.
you're on the Jestral beach and you have to climb this massive like structure. Oh my god! It took me like a good 20 minutes, half an hour. I rage quit at one point. I was like, I'm not doing this. It's for a stupid trophy. I'm not gonna.
It's
And then I
broken in
went
the
back.
way
I
that,
was
like,
like,
those, like, only up games are broken. Like, I feel
yeah,
like they
that's the
knew the
thing.
platform was broken and then made challenges around how broken the platforming was.
Yeah, which I like, kind of understand, but I'm like, I just can't they just make it like good? Like if they're gonna put the platforming in, like at least make it like a little bit more precise. I don't know. Um, so that was something I rubbed up against. And then my only other thing really was, I don't know if you guys had this, but like playing this on PS5, there are moments where it's like, I don't know why this happens, but in like cutscenes, there are some shots where it's just like there's this weird lag and it's as if the characters are like moving at like 20, 15 frames per second, and it's
Oh.
only certain shots and then it'll jump back and like it's completely fine, and it really took out some of the emotion in some of the scenes. Maybe that's why some of the story moments I like wasn't as connecting with, because it's just like the lip syncing wasn't working properly, and like it was like a weird, really weird problem. I don't think everyone has this issue. I don't know why my PS5 specifically was doing this, but yeah, that's just something like that I felt was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I didn't have that specific problem. I do think it's hard to explain because it's like the game. I think it's a game that's imbalanced. Like it's so exceptional in so many ways, and then it has quite a few drawbacks. Like I said, like the dialogue is really odd. Like the fact that like I
It
just
is kind
don't
of weird.
think the conversations are that great, and particularly relationship building, that really irked me because
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm not actively doing anything. Like I just have to go through predisposed dialogue and then my relationship level goes up and I'm like, but that wasn't really satisfying. So it's like, but
Yeah.
Lauren,
it's,
you
you know,
would hate Persona.
Yeah, you would. But I would say
I
Persona, I feel like the relationship feel I don't know, I think like the dialogue feels a little bit more natural. These felt like
Yeah.
weird, kind of off
The
kilter
relationship stuff
vintage
in this is not
almost.
like I didn't realize it was happening the first time until at the end it's like, "You and this person have entered into a relationship," and I was like, "I didn't okay."
but
Like,
why
I
have
didn't
it
know
at
that was in
all
here.
is the thing,
Yeah,
you know? You've got enough going on. We don't need this as well if you're not gonna
Yeah.
do it well, is my thing.
exactly, yeah.
So I could have done without that. Uh, and I think that's the thing is like it's a really beautiful game for like 95% of the time. And then there's 5% where it's like, you know, like the facial motion capture and stuff is sort of like out of the 2010s.
This is what I mean,
And
yeah.
yeah, and but then like the performances are so good that you don't really care that the dialogue's kind of shitty. So, and I get it that it's French, so it's probably there's some rough translations that have probably gone on. Um, but it's just kind of weird. It's like I'm willing to accept its flaws because the good parts are so good, but there's definitely flaws.
Yeah, I think the big drawback for me, and this was the something that I rubbed up against the first time I went through it, and second time was even worse, is the signposting in this game is rough. Knowing what direction you need to go is
Yeah.
Yeah.
so hard because there's no map.
And you
And
yeah,
you got to follow the lamps. That's what you do. There's lamps floating. You follow the
oh,
lamps, but
okay.
finding the lamps can be so hard. You can get turned around, especially in some of the worlds I just want to explore. And I really did. I wasn't doing what you were doing, Lauren. Like I love the combat, so I was like every chance I got, I wanted to go and do a combat. But sometimes I'd come out of the combat completely turned around from where I was before, and I'd start running around and in the living waters area, which is such a beautiful, cool world. I'm like, I don't know.
Mm.
This is the sixth coral reef open area I've seen. I have no idea if this is if I'm back where I began or whatever. Obviously, as both of you have said, like this game is so good that I can overlook a lot of the flaws, but that was the biggest thing for me that I am surprised even coming back months later, that they haven't just put like some level of like, okay, go this direction, or like here's a mini map so you know where you are in the world.
Yeah.
That did surprise me that there was no map. Like there is, and then the open world sort of sections are so
Yeah.
interesting that in between biomes you kind of go into a zoomed out view of all your characters. I want to shout out SGA, the best character.
Oh yeah,
Is just this big. He's a wine bag,
Yeah.
secret wine bag.
He's the dog. Did you know that?
yeah. He's
He's
the
In the
he's
real
the
world.
yeah, he's the family dog,
yeah.
yeah. If you can find there's a bunch of stuff you can learn about the family if you, like, go looking. Like, I think you can unlock all of the rooms in that house, uh, throughout the
Right.
levels and stuff, and, yeah, one of them they introduced that SK is the dog.
It's
I
so
have to
funny.
admit, like, the game's obviously huge. There's so many worlds that you don't even need to go to for the story. I am someone who it's like, I don't think I'm gonna do it. I love the game, but I was really mainlining. I was there for the story, and I didn't like the parts that rubbed up against me. I'm not willing to endure 10 hours of that outside of the main story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. I
Mhm.
think after playing it, I might go back because there is, yeah, like you said, Laura, there's so much to like. I was
There's a lot
talking
of
to my
good
friend and he was
stuff.
like, "Yeah, like
A
I
lot of
mean,
good
there's like
boss
quite
fights, Tom, you'd
4
like them.
hours worth of content." And it's like I'd like to see at least some of it. So maybe I will go back to it eventually because like
Mhm.
the combat is just so good. So yeah,
I liked the overworld just because we don't get that in, like, JRPGs have kind of abandoned that, but that was a big part of,
yeah,
like, you go back and play Final Fantasy VII, and it's what you did, like, you'd
oh, it
go
is.
into the level, you'd do the level, you'd come back out to the overworld, and as time went on, you'd get faster ways to explore the overworld. I thought it was cool and interesting, and there were little parts in the game that little just distractions that I enjoyed doing. I liked finding the mimes. I liked those puzzles where you'd see the, like, weird, like, I'm doing this
The
with my
paint
hand on
boxes.
YouTube, though, and you'd find the 3 targets nearby. Like, I like
Oh
doing
yeah,
those.
Mm,
There's a lot of hidden battles you can find in the levels you even do have to do if you really wanna go looking for them, and
yeah.
okay,
Shout out
any
to
other
the, I was just gonna shout out a level that I liked. The one where there's the masks, I thought that was really cool,
Oh, yeah.
where there was,
oh
like, the
yeah.
Yeah.
happy, sad, angry mask, and you had to figure out that was probably the most challenging parts where I think it was that level where they put, like, a status effect on you, and, oh my god, it
Oh
kills you
god,
so
yeah.
much. You have to go
So
and,
annoying.
yeah, find a Picto to save you. But that kind of creativity is, like, where I think the game really shines, where it's like, there's no
Mhm.
reason for it to be a giant mask, but it's kinda cool, so we'll do it anyway. Somebody said to me, and since they said it, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, but this is like a stealth anime, game.
Oh, yeah.
It's true,
Okay,
hey,
yeah.
like, everything is just so exaggerated and cool,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
and I think that sums it up for me.
It does get me very excited to see this thing adapted. Like, I think that this
Oh yeah.
story specifically could be really special to experience for people who aren't willing to go through the game.
Mm,
Yeah, and seeing
Mhm.
like all the crazy like locations and enemies and just everything like
Mhm.
adapted into like the big screen, I think it'll look like amazing. Yeah,
gonna be
Yeah.
Denis
hella
Villeneuve could do
expensive.
It's gonna be hella expensive, 100%. Um, let's rate it because we have another game to talk about.
it.
What would we give Clair Obscur on a five-star scale? Lauren?
I'm giving it 4.
Yeah,
Tom?
I'm I'm probably gonna give it a 4.5. I was a 4, and then the twist happened, and I was like, okay, you get extra half, you get a half star. So yeah, I think 4.5.
I'm giving it a 5. I love this game.
Yeah, that's
I wanna
fair.
play it again. I just love feeling, guys, and this game makes me feel a lot.
Yep.
Let's go over to my hindsight game, a game that Lauren, you've touched, right? You've played some Silksong. Tom is now deep in Act 3 of Hollow Knight Silksong, and I have completed Act 2 of Hollow Knight Silksong. I have seen Grandmother Silk.
Yep.
Is that the yep,
I think so.
the end of I've seen that. I think right now I am going to take a breather, but I would like to come back and see Act 3 at some point in my life, but just like the prerequisites, it's a lot.
It's a
It's a
lot of
lot.
them.
I have poured oh god, I don't even know. I would like to check probably 40, 50 hours into this game. Um, I would say almost 10 of it was against a single boss in Bilewater that I just gave up. I was just like, I don't
You
need to
did?
do this to
Oh
finish the
no.
game. So so I left. Maybe I'll come back to it. I was really late to Hollow Knight 1. I played it last year when Hollow Knight Silksong came out, and I tried it many times and it just never stuck. But then when I finally gave it a try this last time, it really stuck with me and I ended up going and 100%ing that game. I've loved Hollow Knight 1. I think I like Hollow Knight Silksong even more. I think Hollow Knight Silksong is one of the best, um and I don't mean this by like a qualitative jump, but like I mean this in the way that it adapts the mechanics of the first game. One of the best sequels ever. Like it is just the way that they take everything that Hollow Knight 1 did well and and just add and add and add and add, and in some cases that can be a negative. In this game it rarely is. The bigger world is awesome, the more powers. Um I love Hornet as a character, even though like we're not going to talk about story with Hollow Knight Silksong. Like I didn't really. I'm going to have to go watch YouTube videos to really
Is
understand
there
what was
one?
going on. What was that?
Kind of.
Is there one?
There's kind of a story.
Yeah, it's there. But I don't really understand it. But just moving around this world, I for the first time in I don't know, like I've never really felt this way about a Metroidvania where like I treated it almost like an open world game. I'm just like, I just like being in this world. And oh, I don't know what I want to do today. I'm just gonna go and like explore over here and see if I can find anything. Whereas most of the time when I'm playing a Metroidvania, it's like, okay, how do I get to the next thing? How do I get to the next thing? How do I get to the next thing? Where this was just kind of like, I'm happy to stumble upon whatever I stumble upon. And if that takes me up a mountain that shows me this incredible platforming challenge, it's probably my favorite part of the game, it might do that. Or if it's going to go and take me to this other boss, it might do that. I am just like, I'm blown away by Hollow Knight's Silksong. This is going to be a game that I will play for the rest of my life, just going back to, because it's, again, music's great, graphics are great, the combat's amazing, and it just mixes so many of the things that I like about games together, and I really really like it. It's really good. Tom, you're deep in Act 3.
Mm,
How do we want to start this? Do you want to kind of lead this thing?
yeah. I mean, I guess I could. I mean, like, so from my perspective, yeah, I'm in Act 3. I just checked. I'm like 60 hours in comparatively, so
This was
only
your
a little
game of
bit
the year.
further than this was my game of the year. It was. So I have a question for you guys about game of the year after we talk about Silksong. But yeah, like I love this game. I think I echo everything that Clyde says. Like I think this game is immaculate. They did such a good job, kind of improving everything. Like jumping over to this game. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess like the first thing we could talk about really is like Hornet as a character in comparison to uh I guess like Lauren, you haven't played the original Hollow Knight, but just like the act of playing as Hornet and moving around this world, um, I think she feels like so good to play as. Like the abilities you get, like the one that stands out to me is like her needle ability, where she like flings it forward and like it propels her like to it. Because it's not only like a great like platforming ability, but it also like it's like so useful in combat and that sort of thing.
Oh, I
Um,
never used it in combat.
oh really? Oh,
Yeah, I
interesting.
only in combat, unless I absolutely had to use tools, I only would just use the base, like, I'm gonna slash at you.
Wow. Okay. That's bold. Did you like use any charge abilities or anything like that?
No,
Damn, this
Well,
maybe that's
maybe if you
why
did, you'd beat
maybe
that guy
that's
in bar water.
yeah,
maybe.
that's what I'm saying.
I was cheesing for the last few hours I was trying with him. I would cheese him where you go and like there's poison water and but the poison water only like damages you the first time you land in it. And so you can sit in it and then just throw tools like bombs and stuff up into the air and let the boss just run into the tools. And so I was trying to do that and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, he's a pretty tough guy. But Lauren, I'll jump to you. Like, what in terms of like playing this game from the time you played it of Hollow Knight, like how did you feel about like just like Hornet as a character?
I really think you're not going to come back to me much in this conversation, so I'm going
Yeah,
to lay it all out there. Like
That's
I've
fine.
played like 2 hours,
for
if
sure.
that. And
Yeah.
I know like I love the entire idea of Hollow Knight. I love the design. I love Hornet as a character. I love it's an Australian studio. I love everything they're doing. But this game is a punishment, and it's not a punishment that I enjoy. Like I don't like games where I just can't win or I can't progress, you know? Where it's
Mhm.
like there is I think a lot of satisfaction from obviously hitting your head against the wall heaps of times and then finally gaining success. But I don't have time for that anymore. So I think it's a game that it's like I would love to experience it on easy mode, but there isn't one. So I think it's probably something like I'm not even sure if I will ever come back to it because I don't know if I want to punish myself that way. But that's a reflection on me, not on the game.
Yeah, I had a
I think that's
distinct arc with
yeah.
um every boss, every difficult moment in the game where I would get there and I would just get my teeth kicked in. Sometimes 5, 10, 20 times and I'm like, I this is impossible. Like this is it. This is where I put the game down. And then something would happen where I would come back one time and it's like, "Wait a second. I see what's going on here." Like, it's like Neo seeing the Matrix. It's like, "Wait, like, if I stand here when they do that, and I stand here if they do that," and every you, like, begin to learn, it's like, "Oh, no, every time I fail, it's like, I picked up one thing," and then it's just a matter of, like, chaining it all together, and so some of, like, the hardest boss fights in this game are some of my favorite. Like, the Last Judge is my favorite boss fight that I played in the whole game. It's him and the what are they? The Clockwork Dancers?
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
Clockwork Dancers rock, not because the boss fight is very hard, but it's just such a cool, unique idea for the boss where, Lauren, this boss fight has these 2 boss characters that are flying around, but they're ballet dancers, and they're dancing with each other, and it's all set to the music. So they kinda move and then stop, and then they, like, telegraph where they're gonna go and move to the music and stop, and it's like it's kinda beautiful. Like, it's like I would recommend you go look it up because it's so unlike anything else in this game. The Last Judge is just this big beetle with a bell that shoots fire and is a pain in the butt, and it's the end of Act 1, but that was, like, the biggest arc moment for me where I fought that thing so many times, but it would be like, I'd learn a little bit, and then you'd think you beat her, and the screen would freeze as it does when you beat every boss, and then she gets back up, and you have to like, "Oh, no, you have a second phase that has exactly the same health bar as what I just tried, and now I'm doing it all again, and now I've gotta chain both phases together." Um, but I really, really like that experience, and yeah, the bosses can I don't know, this world is very punishing, but I did feel like as I went through, like, right now, having finished Act 2, I do feel like I can do anything except for that stupid Bilewater boss. But everything else, I do feel like just moving through the world, even little enemies that felt impossible before, I've like picked up strategies like, oh no, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to come in from this angle, or I need to, I don't know, wait till they do this, and then I can have my opening to hit them.
Yeah, I don't mean to upset you, Klein, but the Bilewater boss, Scroll the Great, he is necessary to continue the game, so you will have to
Oh
do
no,
that part.
100%. I will have to like I know to do any act 3, I will have to do that. It's just I need to find the badge that the poise to make it so the poison water doesn't hurt you. And then I think it'll
Yeah.
become a lot easier for me. It's just
Oh, 100%.
when I had slammed my head against the wall for so long, I'm like, if I'm gonna go do that, I might as well just finish Act 2 because I was like right up at the end before I
Yeah,
went and started. Like I basically got to that point. I basically unlocked the final boss, and then I was like, I want to just go and see what else there is out there, and like went and explored and found whole new areas, and that's when I found the mountain for the first time, which was
yeah.
really cool. And um yeah, I think there's so many just like fun secrets. There are ways to play and quote unquote like I've quote unquote beat Hollow Knight Silksong. Like I guess the end of Act 2 is where a lot of people stop. Um but there are ways to play this game where you don't see large chunks of it, which I think is
Mhm.
kind of
Like,
cool. Like everyone has their own experience.
yeah, because did you experience the jail, like, at any
No,
point?
I haven't been captured for in
Yeah.
jail yet.
So, like, the jail is, like, a random event, I'm pretty sure, that I don't know what the prerequisites are, but
I've
you just get
been there.
captured, thrown in
I haven't been
jail.
captured though. Like I think I've stumbled upon it, but I haven't
Yeah,
been
right, and you
captured
just
or
haven't.
locked up.
Yeah, because that's a whole other, because at that point, um, like, I won't spoil it because but it unlocks, like, a
Go
whole kind
ahead.
of,
Go ahead.
well, basically, you get all of your abilities taken away from you, and you basically
Oh,
play as Hornet, but instead of using your needle, you're just beating people up, as like this kind of Hornet without her coat, and it's like it's awesome. It's like a prison break, like moment. It's really fun. But that, we're talking about bosses, like that segment of the game, um, leads you down the path to like my favorite boss of the game, which is a boss called First Sinner. And like you were saying, like some of the most difficult bosses in this game uh are the most rewarding. They're the most frustrating, and like sometimes I question whether I'm actually having fun or not. Um, but this one specifically, because First Sinner is like this really fast, really agile character, and you're constantly having to parry, and it's doing all these crazy attacks. It's such a good boss fight. So
I think I
I
fought this
definitely.
guy.
Oh really? Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe you have gone to the part of the jail that you can unlock. I don't know.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know. That's the cool thing though, is there's so much in this game. It feels like
There's
Elden
so
Ring.
much.
It's
Yeah.
like there's no
Yeah.
one playthrough that's ever going to be the same because there's so many hidden little things. Like there would be I would walk around these areas that I would been through so many times, and then when I came back in this final kind of sweep before I did the final boss, I would just hit a wall or do something different, and it would open up a whole like corner of the map. I'm like, I thought that was the edge of the map, and I just so happened to
Yeah.
stumble upon this whole different area. I think that that to me is something that I am, as time goes on, really, really finding I like in games is this level of discovery, this like feeling of finding something that no one else has seen or felt. And there's no way that that's the case. Like, I'm pretty sure somebody has stumbled upon every corner of Hollow Knight Silksong, but the fact that it can make me feel that way, it does like that's why I love these Metroidvania games. And I think that this game does such a good job of like really, really leaning on what makes this genre great.
Yeah, and I think it does that by like making these locations so distinct from one another. Like the biomes and the locations you go to are so varied.
Yeah, you're like
That when
in a
you
clock with like gears and
yeah,
stuff. You'd like I love the fire area down at the very bottom. I'm forgetting all of the names. I love the mountain. Like I've talked about the mountain so many
yeah,
times, but with the snow where you're basically like climbing this mountain, but you can only be out in the cold for so long. So you're like trying to go through these really hard platforming challenges to get to the next lamp to stay there to stay warm. And then you burst out again. You only have like 20 seconds to find the next lamp, and you're just climbing. You have no idea where the lamp is going to be, and you're just hoping that it's just over the next crest. It's like so you feel so many different things playing this game, and for being just like a simple 2D action platformer is what it really is. But like just the fact that it can elicit that level of like I am like it's the end of Journey, and I'm like trying just
yeah.
every step feels like I'm like feels like it's taking every ounce of strength to get there.
Yeah, that mountain is such a like it's such an emotional like toll because it's like yeah, it really takes it out of you. And then when you finally get to the top, and then unlock the ability that you get at the top of the mountain,
What do you get at the
you
top
just
there? Is
feel
the double
so
jump?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, the double
Um,
jump is
and
good.
it just
My favorite ability in the whole game though, and it's just so simple, but I love the little parachute. Like I love the just like the skirt
yeah,
puffing up and just being able to float is just the way that I love how that feels when you're moving through the world, but I think something that this game does better than Hollow Knight 1 did is every animation feels so like detailed and like handcrafted, and like there's so many of them. I like Hollow Knight 1 has a lot of like detail and stuff in it, but this like the way the skirt puffs off and her head kind of like just bobbles a little bit as she floats down, or like just every enemy animation, like this really feels like a level up from the very first game, and I'm super excited to see whatever Hollow Knight 3 looks like if that's what they want to do next.
Like even
yeah,
in the small amount of time that I played with it, it feels so clean as a game.
Mhm.
Like
Clean's a
everything
good
is
word.
just yeah, it's so like dazzling in its simplicity, and then also it's so charming. Like just these we all know I love Sherma, 5 stars for Sherma, but just like these little guys that you run into, and they have the little noises they make, and um like even though it is this grueling punishing game, you kind of are a little bit compelled to be like, but I just like them, like I just want to they're quirky and cute, and I want to know what's next. It's kind of almost a juxtaposition, because it's like, why are they so difficult but they're so cute?
Mhm, mhm, and then you're
I love
facing these titanic horrors in a lot of, like, cases when you walk into the boss battles. I like noise-wise, if we wanna go down that road, just anytime Hornet makes a shriek or, like, a little, like, sound is, like I don't know how you direct any of that, but it's like I feel what this little bug is feeling every time.
Yeah, honestly.
Do they
Even
have
like
voice actors? Did somebody is
They
somebody
must have, because there's a
or is it
lot
just
of,
them in
like
the office making noises?
yeah, it's them with, like, a microphone going, "Hey da," like, that's kinda
It
it,
might
like
be.
yeah, like it's just weird, like it sounds like a I don't know, like it sounds like this weird invented language. I guess there
Alien?
must be some kind of yeah, it's like an alien weird thing, but it really just adds this kind of mystique to this world and like you guys are saying, there's so much character. Um yeah, like Sherma, in particular, you like meet them multiple times throughout the game, and there's one point where like I don't know if you saw this climb, but like there's this one moment that like Sherma's like in this really dark kind of area, and she's like really scared, and you have to save them.
Yes.
And like just the emotion like coming out of Sherma's like, oh, just I want to protect this little bug. I feel so bad for them.
I like
So
reading
yeah,
into
just like
Sherma's stuff too, though, too, because like, every time you talk to them, they, like they don't know why they're doing it, and, like, they don't really understand the horrors of the world that are around them, but they're
no,
just, like, always like, "La, la, 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 la," and you always show up and you're like, "No, but, like, it's really dangerous out there," and they're like, "Ah, it
yeah.
doesn't matter, like, I'm just, like, oblivious to this, and I don't know why I'm here."
It's so funny. And like that is just one character and it like extends to like everything just oozes personality from like the characters and the enemies to like the locations themselves. They feel so like lived in and like um there was just so much care. Like
Mhm,
I can feel why this game took as long as it did because you could just feel it in every frame of this game's gameplay. Like it's
mhm.
incredible.
And it feels like a living world too. Like, I love that I can go and do something on the complete other side of the map and then come back, I don't know, hours later, to an area I was earlier, and it feels completely different. Like, it feels like I'm actively
Yeah.
having an effect on the world as I'm playing, and it just and because of that, I can miss things, and so now I have to go back and if I want to restart and like, have conversations that maybe I didn't have the first time through because, hey, now this whole civilization or this whole, like, group of people, they're not where they were before. Like, they've moved on because you did this and shifted the world, and I think, like, that is, like that's something that usually is reserved for games like The Witcher or like Cyberpunk, like these big, like open world RPG kind of epic sprawling stories. And the fact that it exists here too is kind of neat.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any negatives with the game
I
in
don't
terms
like
of
I
like other than the fact that it's
other
so
than
punishing?
Bilewater, fuck that place. I don't really swear on this podcast very often, but
Yeah,
I
I've just
hate it.
written down here Sinners Road and Bilewater can go to hell. That's like my only negative.
Oh, I
Like
was
it's
at
so
Sinners Road was okay.
oh, but I hate
Um,
those little like bitey rat dog
oh,
things.
those are the worst. Yeah, those
They
do
bite
suck.
you and they took two damage. That's
But
so
then you
annoying.
get Sinner's Road is the lead into Bilewater, and you get to Bilewater, and like this place is a hell. I hate those bugs. It's not just the boss in that area. It's like, okay, I've got to get to the top. I'm looking, there's like no benches anywhere. I'm looking for a bench. I'm climbing. And then there's these bugs that puke acid at me, and I have to like
Oh my
cling to the
god.
wall on the other side of them until they stop puking acid so I can jump up and over and bounce off of them to get to the next platform on the other
This
side. And then finally, when I get to the top, it's like, finally, a bench. Oh my gosh, I did
Oh,
it.
no.
I walk in, I sit down, it drops me into a pit of spikes, and I'm like, I can trust no one. You guys, this hurt me. And then so there's no bench around there, and there's just a secret bench hidden away deeper in Bilewater, which I eventually found. But like I was I that was the only time playing this game where I was like, I can't like I'm gonna have to stop. Like I can't do this. Like this is you betrayed my trust. It's like if you were to walk into a save room in Resident Evil, the one sacred place in Resident Evil where nothing can hurt you, and Mr. whatever his name, Mr. T or walks in
Mr.
through the
X.
bursts through the wall or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I was oh, I felt so betrayed, Team Cherry. Like you like I was ready to end our relationship, but I kept going and I'm
Like that
happy I
one
did
workbench in Last of Us Part 2.
100% like that. I was so, so, so mad. There are so many moments in this game, if I was to give it a negative, where I'm just like gripping my Switch harder than I ever have, sitting on the edge of my seat, just desperate for a bench. Like just like
Yeah.
desperate for a place to save. I'm like, I have nothing. My resources are nil. All the enemies around here, only some of them are gonna give me health or whatever. So I can't do anything with that. And I'm just like, it's been forever So I'm gonna have to go back and do so much again if I do get hit, and then you finally find one, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, Team Cherry. But yeah, it's a desperate run through a lot of this game.
This is why
It
they
really
think
is.
gamers are insane. It's like, why do you enjoy that?
I don't know. I
Because
don't
there's
know
a bunch
why.
of little cute guys. I don't know. And
Yeah, I know.
I also love, like, I do think that the combat in this game is so much of a level up from Hollow Knight 1. I mean, they are very similar, and I ended up building my Hornet, like, the crest or whatever I used was just, I'm like, "Give me the crest so I can just be Hollow Knight from the first game." So I
Yeah.
didn't like the diagonal down, I wanted a straight down, so I found that and
Right, okay.
stuck to that. But, like, the combat and or I guess the combat encounters, because it is ultimately, like, especially the way I played it, where I am just slashing the enemies, do come down to the same thing. But, like, that's why I'm such a sicko for this game, is like, yes, the combat encounters are hard, but they're so creative, and, like, the salute, they feel like a puzzle. Like, every time you walk in, it's like, this is gonna be unlike anything else I've played in this game so far. Now how do I figure it out? And even there's times where you fight the same thing again, and it's like, oh, the strategy that I did before is not going to work here, and I have to completely refigure out, like, the second Savage Beastfly
Oh, yeah.
fight, where you have, like, fire on either side of you, and it's just like, it is
It's a
tough.
nightmare. It's awful.
Yeah, but I did it. There is a good fun joke on the Silksong subreddit right now, where they just, like, it's like, how to make the Savage Beastfly or second Savage Beastfly fight even harder. And it's been getting progressively as the months have gone on, just these screenshots, which is like more BS on the screen.
It's crazy. They just add more and more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. I think we should rate it, because this has been a long podcast.
Yeah.
Tom, do you want to, you've already talked about Silksong a lot, but do you want to give it a rating?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a 10. I think,
It's a 10
yeah,
out of
I
5.
think
10 on the 5-star
Whoa.
a
scale. That's
10. It's a 10 out
crazy.
of 5. It's a 10 out of 5. First, and it never been seen before. No, I guess, like, if it's a 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, then, but yeah, no notes.
Yeah, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. This is an easy 5 out of 5. It overtakes Prince of Persia as my favorite Metroidvania.
Wow.
And you like it more than Hollow Knight, right?
Yeah, 100%. I do. I do. I think also the experience I had playing the first Hollow Knight, because I was playing it on Switch 2 before the upgrade happened.
Mm,
It was a
yeah,
blurry, sometimes, like, feeling quite slow experience. So I think if I was to play the Switch 2 version of the original, I might have a different opinion. But I don't know, just the way that this game, like, blows up what the first game was, and just really just, like, expands everything and makes everything, it's so much more varied than the first Hollow Knight was.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
The question I'll have you, just a quick question before we move on. Do either of these games, Clair Obscur or Hollow Knight, affect your games of the year from last year? Do you think they would have usurped your guys' game of the year if you had played these games?
I mean, for me, no.
Yeah. So,
I think I respect Clair Obscur. I enjoyed my time with it, but it's not like, I don't think it's ticking every box for me. I don't think it's like it was made exactly for me, kind of like how I feel Dispatch was. So I think it's definitely probably in my top 5, but I don't think it's up there as, like, it's not beating it for me. I'm glad I played it though.
yeah. I think it might. Clair Obscur is probably like a very, very close second. I'd have to think about it a bit more. I think I need a bit more time to ruminate. But, like, feeling so high on Clair Obscur now, it does make me kind of question, like, whether I would put Silksong now. But what
There's
about you,
no
Tom?
way you would.
Yeah.
Silksong's like
I
your
don't know. I
OG.
don't know. I don't know, man.
Um, Hollow Knight Silksong's my game of the year for 2025.
Whoa, that's crazy.
It
Monster
beats,
Train
what
2.
was it? Monster Train?
Monster Train
Yeah.
2.
Yeah,
Monster Train 2 is a
that's-
really, really good game. It's a very good game.
yeah.
But Hollow Knight Silksong is like, this is,
Ask us again in 6 months, because recency bias is a thing.
That's true.
yeah, it totally is. But this is a game that I will think about forever. Hollow Knight Silksong is just like, it's everything I want in a game. I talked about it, I don't know, when was it, the God of War Metroidvania came out, or even earlier? I'm like,
Yeah.
I've discovered, I think it was last year, I'm like, I've discovered that Metroidvanias, that those are my favorite things to play now. Like that is like I could just play those till the end of time. Just give me as many of them as you want. Oh, it was when I was playing the GBA Castlevania games over Christmas. I was just like, this is just feed these to me forever. And I will go nom 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 nom. Give me more, please.
Give him more. Do it.
Okay. That's what we have been playing, but we've also been playing something else. Tom, I want to do this. You're going to be the only one today. Let's go talk about what else we've been playing because it is
Fine.
topical. So, Tomodachi
Yeah.
Life, Living the Dream demo. Go ahead, give us a rundown, and then we can get out of here.
Yeah, I'll do this very quickly. Yeah, so Tomodachi Life released a demo on Nintendo Switch 2, so I decided to give it a look because like a lot of people playing this game and like having like a really good time with it. It's only like an hour demo, but basically, if you're not familiar, it's basically a game where you take Miis, you create a bunch of Miis, you can make them of your friends, you can make them of celebrities, you can make them of fictional characters, and you plot them onto an island and just see what they do. Basically, you give them little personality traits, and then you just see how they react, and they get into these weird kind of scenarios. Obviously, as soon as I started the game, I was like, I guess I'll make Sabrina Carpenter. So Sabrina Carpenter was the first me I made. And then I was like, well, she needs a friend in the music industry. So I made Charlie XCX next. And then I
Oh, not
made,
Carly.
yeah, I feel like Carly was like, we needed someone edgy to balance out like Sabrina's sweetness, I guess, you know? So Carly
Where does
will
Tom fall into this,
compensate.
though?
Yeah.
He's not there yet.
How
There
does
was only
Tom
like space.
romance all of these beautiful pop girlies?
I think that's not something I can do in the demo because there's only space for 3. There's only space for 3 Miis, so that will come eventually when I buy the full game. Because the third Mii I made was based off of one of my favorite streamers, Squeaks, who's just like a 30-year-old dude, basically, among these pop singers. I just thought it was really funny. It's really fun. Like I haven't played Pokopia, obviously, but I think we're like kind of getting into like a life sim kind of renaissance here. This is like a really just wacky off the wall thing where you like give these Mii's food and they'll like say like these weird things. You can get the little quirks. It's a lot more like customizable in comparison to something like Animal Crossing where your villages are very set. But this is like you just put like your Mii's into scenarios and they just do goofy stuff, and that's kind of the whole game. So yeah, obviously I only played like an hour of it, but I honestly will probably get this game when it comes out now because it seems like goofy fun, and like you said, I gotta romance these pop stars, I guess.
I've
Oh,
heard it
God.
described as unhinged Animal Crossing.
Oh,
Like
100%. Yeah, you can
demonic
do some
Animal
crazy
Crossing.
stuff.
The
Yeah,
Vocaloid
it's
stuff is
cursed.
terrifying. I kind of like it, but like the way the Mii's talk, where they actually say words, but it's all like Vocaloid. It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they sound like basically like yeah chatbots almost. You can
Yeah.
like
Oh,
alter how they
God.
sound.
Yeah.
I basically made it so that Charlie sounds like auto-tuned, like she does in her
Okay.
music. So she just sounds like kind of like all over the place. It's really
Yeah.
funny.
The rest of them,
So
they're
yeah,
like,
I'd recommend
"Hello, Lauren. How are you?"
Ooh, okay.
it. Did you
It's
voice the
really
Mii's, Klein?
freaky.
That's so cool.
We'll get a quick island update. Lauren, Pokemon Pokopia, are you in? You've been amassing your monsters?
Yes, expect small updates from me on this, probably for the next 6 years. But this week we found the second area, and I immediately turned around. I was like, nope, too much, too much. I have to go back. I hadn't even built my house yet. So yeah, love it. This game, so dangerous. The part of the reason that I don't think Clair Obscur hit me as much as it should have is because I was thinking about Pokopia the entire time. So I was kind of racing to the finish, to be honest, so that I could play Pokopia. Sorry, Clair Obscur. I love you, but the Pokemon, they need me.
Yeah, Mael is cool until you meet Squirtle. You know, that's the tale as old as time. Tom, comment corner for the week. Do we have any?
We do actually have a couple here, yeah. So we talked about some of the Nintendo movies that we'd like to see, some of the franchises, some of the characters that we'd like to see adapted into movies, and a lot of people chimed in, so I'm just going to rattle these off and then we can get out of here. At Ryan_reflects, Ryan Cotero, our boy, says, I need the Wii Sports X White Lotus movie now. It's giving the Kool-Aid movie from the studio. At Mighty12404, they should do a Luigi's Mansion movie, which maybe if Charlie Day wants to
Charlie
do it.
Day thinks so as well.
He's
Yeah,
keen.
he seems pretty keen. So, At Arcane Smash said F-Zero would be a great speed racer pastiche Paper Mario cartoon, while Fire Emblem could just work as a TV series, but I have to go with a Metroid movie. We deserve it. At V, that's me. Splatoon movie could go fire. Yeah, definitely good. And at Daniela Drian Mordecai 8979 says Samus Aran, I will die on this hill. So a lot of thoughts there. Yeah, pretty cool.
And all that was, of course, in anticipation of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which we will be reviewing. That will be the next episode of the podcast. So I want to ask you our Comment Corner question of the week, as we are just days away from the Super Mario Galaxy movie hitting theaters. Where is your hype at for the Super Mario Galaxy movie? You can let us know over on social media. Follow the show at Controller Club Pod on Instagram and Blue Sky, at Controller_Club on Twitter, and at Controller.club on TikTok. You can also share those answers in the YouTube comments below, or if you're listening on podcast services around the globe, you can share comments over there as well. And while you're at it, YouTube, ring the bell, subscribe, do all the things. Spotify, Apple Music, 5 stars. It really helps us out. Tom Drew, where can people keep up with you? What do you have going on in your life? Take it away.
Yeah, you can find me at Tom Drew, Instagram, Blue Sky, basically everywhere on the internet. If you want to see some new Pokemon card pulls for the new set, Perfect Order, go look at my Blue Sky. You'll see what I got. I guess I can also post some of the Miis that I've made in Tomodachi Life. So if you want to see Sabrina Carpenter as a Mii, go find me at Tom Drew.
Lauren, what do you have going on in your life and where can people find it?
You can follow me at lrouse19 on the socials. I've mainly just been celebrating being a part of the Switch 2 world. If any friends of the show out there want to send me their friend codes, I'm open to it.
Hell yeah. You can keep up with me everywhere. I'm at the Kleinfeld, TheKleinFelt. That's going to wrap up this jam-packed, super-sized episode of Controller Club. As always, thank you so much for listening and watching. Now, let's get gaming.